Welcome to Any Given Thursday. It's me, Rob.
And me, Kevin.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. I wanted to leave it just awkward.
Yeah,
just long enough of a pause to make it awkward. You know?
The dumpster fire for the homeless. I still like that.
I do too. I think, I like to change it up every once in a while just when I get inspired by something.
Sure.
But I think it's a good common tagline that we can always fall back on,
Sure.
It's standard. It really describes what we're doing here pretty well. So I think it's fair. What are we talking about today, Rob?
So I'm not gonna lie. It is potentially not the most original topics. However, I think we'll do okay with this.
Okay. Can you lie to me instead?
Can I? What do you mean?
Redo.
Redo?
Redo.
Oh boy, Kev, have I got a topic for you.
Redo? No, you don't have to do that. Okay, maybe not the most... we've done that before.
We've done, yeah.
It's fine. We did Desert Island, albums. So
that's true.
Everyone talks about that.
Yeah.
And I think we can play up potentially not the most original topics, well, just based on who we are and what we do.
Oh, no, that's fair. And actually, it's a music topic again.
Cool.
I'm repping part of what made me think of this. Me and Kevin went back to Toad's place.
Yeah, we did.
And it was actually this is kind of sprung forth from a discussion we were having on the way to Toad's, and somebody we saw there. So
okay.
Of the artists we saw there, we saw this man who I believe was named Yoshi.
Yoshi T.
Yoshi T. That's you looked it up afterwards.
Yep.
He was fine.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Yeah.
It was clearly his was a rap performance.
Yes.
Very clearly rap performance.
Yes.
There was him. There was the guy on the keyboards, and there was another dude who I don't know what the fuck he was doing. He was holding a mic and standing in front of a keyboard, but he did not do anything.
No, he was just vibing.
That man must have been high as shit.
He was bopping back and forth, and I think he said a word maybe once or twice.
Like he was maybe a hype man, but I don't even think he was doing that.
He was just kind of chilling.
Weird performance. Not bad at all.
Yep.
I've been meaning to listen to him again. I felt that he would probably sound better in a non-Toad's audio where I could hear his vocals.
Fair.
Odd dude from Manhattan, I guess. But all right, so we had him.
Yep, we had Yoshi T.
We had Hoodie Allen.
Digging the hat.
Looking
good.
Who I was surprised by. I was surprised by it for a number of reasons. Mostly because I've only heard a few of his songs, more than I thought I would have.
See?
And I think even more than him, I was surprised by Bryce Vine.
Okay.
And I like Bryce Vine.
Yeah.
And I've listened to Bryce Vine before. And maybe it's because I haven't been to a lot of rap shows. And some of the ones I have been to were trash. Lil Wayne.
Okay. The call out.
Yeah, it was bad. It was awful.
But Blake was there.
Yeah, it didn't help him.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, okay, but you also said at the show that you've seen Watsky a couple times.
I have seen Watsky, and Watsky was real good. This felt different. And I'm going to go so far as to say, and this is, I think, the heart of my comment here, Bryce Vine had an awesome drummer.
Yeah.
He had some guy ripping on guitar.
Yeah. And
the fucking guy in the trumpet. Oh my god, I was so hyped for that every time it happened. It caught me so off guard. This man was just fucking out there and be like, I don't remember. He was playing something else. He was maybe bass or something. Or was he the drummer?
Or no, was he the...
I don't know
he
what...
was a keyboard. I think he was a keyboard, but he was also...
I don't know what he was... He had another instrument. He was also decent at it.
Yeah.
And then randomly, he would just stop. He'd stand up and just trumpet. And I was like...
Yeah. I thought you were building up to that. It's like, he had a great drummer, he had a great keyboardist, and then you stopped, and I'm like, we're Rob, the most important person.
No, you're right.
Aside from Bryce Vine, the guy with the fucking trumpet.
I think that Bryce Vine falls into a weird genre. But from his show, and for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to say it was a rock show.
Ooh, okay.
And so what I want to look at today is how rock music has needed to evolve to stay relevant in today's era. And I'm going to put it on a scale from that Bryce Vine show to Greta Van Fleet.
Ooh,
And so what I'm looking at here is like, because we were talking about it a lot. We were talking about Greta Van Fleet beforehand, and we were like, they showed up in a time when nobody was looking for or needing that. They fit this niche that like, this is a style, this is old style rock.
Yep, no one was looking for dad rock.
Nobody was looking for dad rock, and they came in and they made modern dad rock similar to that of Zeppelin. And it's like, wow, okay. And
and they're so good.
And it did exactly what it needed to.
Yeah.
And then, like, similarly, in a completely different way, you know, the show that we witnessed, again, it felt more like a rock show.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Bryce Vine is straight up rap. I think he's like a hybrid in what he does.
I agree. They're like, I mean, both of them are like, quote unquote, indie rappers, but like at the same time, what does that even fucking mean?
What does that even mean?
You know, because I always get, I think one of the reasons that I, you know, talking about Hoodie for a second, right? One of the reasons that I really like Hoodie Allen is that he was always kind of like a pop punk rapper to me.
Sure.
Like that was always the vibes that I got from him. Is that you know, he raps, but like his songs, like the music around him is very much like, you know, early 2000s pop punk.
Yeah, and that's a lot more what his performance felt like.
Yes, yeah. Like I could imagine seeing him like at like a Warped Tour. You know,
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
I would have been fucking psyched to see Hoodie Allen at Warped Tour when I went.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of where it is. It's like, you know, because there's a lot of different genres of music now. There's a lot of people that don't fit into genres, and I think that it's everybody's trying to do something that's different, unless you're Greta Van Fleet, where different is what's old.
Yep. Different is the same, but in the same way, but also kind of not.
Right, but like, I mean, all real instruments, they were doing it like it was a full band. And it's like, okay, how do I make who I am work in today's market while trying to make music? And so that's where I'm going so far as to say, like, Bryce Vine, not your typical dude who would be doing, like, garage rock shows.
Yeah.
He's not.
Right.
But he doesn't feel like some kind of, you know, rap star sort of thing.
Sure. We didn't go to a Travis Scott concert.
No.
I mean, we might have died, but, you know. but
we wouldn't be the ones running forward, and if we are, we're not the ones getting trampled.
Oh, that's fair. No. But, like, I think it's a big distinction that, you know, we're a couple of white dudes that went to a quote-unquote rap concert, but even that, we didn't really.
No, we didn't.
You know what I mean? Like, we didn't. We did, but we didn't.
I mean, but is he ska? He had a trumpet.
I mean, kind of. Right? I mean, I don't know. Kind of. It's like big band, like jazz. Which, you know, actually, hold on.
Are you going to go with like R&B and...
No, I think they are... I think Bryce Vine is jazz.
No. No.
I know it sounds crazy.
He had one trumpet from time to time.
I know. But beyond just that, I think the vibes are very much jazz inspired.
I don't know. I might not know enough about jazz, to be honest.
Fair. I'm looking at it from like you know, at the time jazz was like indie. You know what I mean? Like before that became a category that just encompassed anyone who does anything that isn't quote unquote mainstream, which is a whole fucking conversation in itself. And,
well, that's the thing. I think
is kind of overblown. I think at this point.
I guess what I want to try and the other thing to look at here for the sake of this conversation is there's like overarching big bubbles of music.
Mm-hmm.
So like I threw rock out there.
Yeah.
But rock is blasted apart at the moment between alternative, all the hundreds of variations of metal,
Yep.
punk, which is kind of just off of that.
Yep.
Grunge, which is again just they're different sects of. I'm just gonna blanket it under rock.
Yeah.
And then we have the huge and weird and almost similar sounding country.
Yeah. Okay.
We have pop in a place I don't know where exactly to put it. There's classical, which
it just is.
It just is.
It hasn't changed.
That's the conservatives of the music world.
Yeah, even people who are writing purely instrumental music for orchestras, right? It hasn't changed, except for those. You ever seen those videos of like there's like one or two that I can remember of the guys that kind of compose a song on the spot, and I know there's one guy who does it at a piano. Tim something.
No idea.
He's a British guy or Australian. Ooh, I don't know. Fucking know. He's got an accent. His name is Tim something.
Tim something.
And he basically like he's done this thing where he's uses the audience suggestions to compose a song on the spot. There's another person.
I might have seen one of these videos.
There's another person who did it. He was receiving an award at some sort of college. I think it was some sort of college was awarding him something, and he took a line from the brochure and then wrote a song all based on that line. And like there was an orchestra on stage with them too, and he's like, "All right, you're gonna play this, you're gonna play this," like that sort of thing.
That is crazy.
And it's like it's on the spot. Sort of. Why did I get to this? Where was I going with this?
Well, we were talking about classical music. And,
okay.
But I think so
the oddities, right? The oddities. There are some individuals who kind of go crazy and turn classical music into like pop, but also like a lot of modern elements.
I think we were saying classical, but it's big band, right?
Well, and then we're back to jazz again.
And we're back to jazz again, which is like I feel like that's the closest to classical. I feel like classical big band doesn't necessarily or typically doesn't have vocals. Or like lyrics, I should say.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I have a cousin who's going to be a composer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, conductor.
Mm-hmm.
Although he composes, so whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
In modern times, that's crazy.
It's unheard of.
And talking to him about it, it's like it's just music. Like he understands music on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And like has listened to the same piece over and over again and knows when somebody does it better. And I wouldn't even know the difference.
No.
And I think that there's a crazy art to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, aside from the performance, like if we remove that performance element and just look at it from like a music theory perspective,
crazy,
right? Like, insane. And there's so many different interpretations of a song and how what like the point is trying to get across, and like whether you're in like one, and then you go to the four, and then like you whatever the fuck these things. I've watched enough videos to know the terms, but I have no idea what the fuck I'm saying. It's like it's like you resolve down to the five or something, but like I don't fucking know what I'm talking about.
I don't know enough about what you're saying in order to respond in a meaningful way.
but I've watched enough videos of music theorists break down songs that I like.
Yeah.
To know the terms, and that's it. I have no fucking clue how it works or what they're talking about half the time.
Yeah,
but it's interesting to learn about.
It's incredibly interesting. And so I guess I'm not necessarily looking to talk about those in the same sense. It's like, okay, how do we still call something rock?
Okay.
And what does it take to be popular and recognized today? And I think that the two examples I picked, being Greta and Bryce Vine, is that it's like they're not doing something straightforward. It's not a garage band sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I love 21 Pilots. I don't think I'd call them rock.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know what I'd call them. Like I feel like alternative like splits, and I don't know where I would put them. But for the sake of this conversation, they're doing something completely different, but it's not in this sort of sense.
Okay. And this is like stemming from the fact that like it was basically a rock show that we went to, right?
Yeah.
Like that idea, right? Which I agree with. I 100% agree with that.
Like I've been to many 21 Pilots concerts, and it's awesome and it's cool and they do a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
But it's not like a classic rock show. You got somebody doing a guitar solo. There's multiple bands. I mean, they do drum solos, and Tyler can do all kinds of instruments and things. But it's slightly different.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I was just thinking back, listening to our last Toad's Place episode. Like, I don't know if I'd call out J-Rock.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, but it's like, is it experimental? Okay. Do we put them under jazz? Is it like,
is it more so?
I would say
R&B?
more so. Is it blues? Is it?
They're like their show. I wouldn't call their show when we went to see them a rock show.
Right?
Like the concert that we attended. Yeah. I don't think that was a rock concert. Portugal the Man was more of a rock concert vibe than All J was. Right. You know? But like seeing All J, no, that was like I mean, it's so hard to put them into words already. But like you know, it is I think they're kind of jazzy. Like if we're using umbrella terms, like I know rock is technically like a subcategory of jazz, it's a split off from it or whatever, right? You know what I mean? But like if we were to say that rock and jazz are two separate umbrellas, I would put All J more under the jazz umbrella than the rock umbrella.
Okay. All right. Or if because you can barely understand the main singer, do we call it classical?
In a weird way?
I would go see a big band version of an All J song.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Are you kidding me? That would be awesome.
That'd be sick.
That actually reminds me, oddly enough, so they're coming up pretty frequently now. Kiss.
Okay.
They did a recording with the Sydney Philharmonic Orchestra. They did a live performance with an orchestra backing them of their, I think it was Alive album. Okay. So like years ago, you know, this was a rock band that like performed all of their songs on stage with an orchestra behind them. And the orchestra was also doing all of the songs.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was really cool. We had a DVD of it, and it was something that we would put on in the background when we were like cleaning the house or whatever. I think we only sat down and watched it like maybe 2 or 3 times. But like it was always to put music on in the background, and it was just this really cool experience to hear, you know, a weird glam rock band that has an orchestra backing them on all of their songs. Most of their songs, not all their songs. And they also brought in like a children's choir for some of their songs too. And like, it was super cool.
Well, so you know who else has done that? Is Amy Lee and Evanescence had a symphonic album. Yep. It was only I was gonna say it was only a few years ago. It was probably longer than that now. It was when we were in college, but it was freaking awesome.
You mean preschool?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Right. You're right.
Come on. You gotta keep up with the bit.
I'm still getting ready for my SATs.
Sorry. That's a throwback.
That's a throwback.
Technically. But yeah. Another cool band that did a symphonic album.
And it was sick.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, that's probably can only, I guess, well, hold on. I was going to say that could only
That was rock, though.
Well, that's the thing. And like, could that only, I was going to say that could only be done by an artist who's good at music theory, who would know how to break it up.
No.
But
I just gave you an example of a band that is not that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but then Kiss probably just paid somebody to do it for him.
Yeah, like, and I mean, they're all good musicians, right? But you know, their songs are incredibly repetitive. I don't think a lot of theory went into the crafting of them. I'm just putting that out there, you know.
So should it really be a scale of Kiss to Queen?
Maybe. And you mentioning Queen, I just had a thought in my head of like, where do like rock operas fall? I mean, they're rock,
right?
They're rock operas,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you know, you say Queen, like Bohemian Rhapsody, like the entire album, really, Night at the Opera. But like Bohemian Rhapsody is, you know, the song off that album.
Yeah.
You know, not too much love for.
You mean it's not a I Love My Car?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Or like Welcome to the Black Parade, which we've talked about in the past before, right? You know what I mean?
But I guess that's like I'm trying to look at not dissecting genres because we could
That's true.
We could do that for forever.
That's true.
And I don't even know where we would end up.
I keep getting you away from the topic.
No, it's okay. It's what we're here to do is not do the topic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's you know, how do modern bands stand out? And I hear it and I'm like, that's rock. And that's hard. Right? It's because there's so many bands who are now trying to do this sort of thing and they lean heavy on the pop side.
Yep. Or
they do a lot more electronic things. Well, I'm not taking a dig at them.
No.
I think that shit is cool.
Yeah.
To what we were just saying about, actually, I saw some, I don't like throwing a positive to this person. I don't like Justin Bieber.
Okay.
I saw a video somewhat recently where somebody was calling out things and it was Justin Bieber sitting in like a conductor's chair and just having different instruments start and go.
Cool.
That shit's wild.
Yeah.
He's not somebody who I would think would do that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to, whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's, another band when I was thinking about this that came to mind is Giovanni and the Hired Guns.
Okay.
I don't
think I'm super familiar.
I think I've sent you some songs by them.
It could be.
They usually go by their abbreviation, which I can't. GOHG, something like that.
Okay. You might have. I can't remember the band by name.
They sing Overrated.
It's not coming to me.
And their album is called Tijuana Punk Boys. And,
that sounds more familiar.
And I remember hearing it, and I'm like, who is this dude? Like, he's got this raspy voice, and then I saw the album cover, and I'm like, what's going on here? And he's like, some, like, Latinx dude who's heading, like, what sounds like an old-school punk band.
Cool.
Who would have probably had a hard time coming into the scene at that time, doing what he's doing now. Oh, yeah. And it's like, this sounds like rock. This guy's got some weird raspy voice. Mm-hmm. I thought it was some burly white dude, to be honest. And it's, you know, full, like, rock band setup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just sick.
Huh. But is that band breaking out by being rock? Like are they distinguishing themselves by choosing to be rock? Which for years, rock has been just a catch-all.
Right.
But like, is it now that if you are going into the rock space, mm-hmm. but not in a traditional way, is that the way to stand out?
No, actually, I do think that to some degree, with how easy it is to have all of your instruments and everything and make a song completely digitally, that being a more typical garage rock band is nearly sticking out today.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, it's just harder to do.
Yeah. No, I agree. And maybe that is why, like, Greta is getting as big as they are. And I think it's...
the dads want somebody to look to and they say, yeah, that's a rock concert.
I'm not a dad. I have seen him live. I'm not a dad that I know of. But like
in England somewhere, there's a small child going, Papa?
that's news to me. But like that was 100% a rock show.
Yeah.
Like all in, and it was great. I love that concert. I like if their tickets weren't so goddamn expensive, I would be going to see them more. But like they're too popular right now, and especially in this area for some reason. Like they're super big in like CT specifically, but like they're always do incredibly well when they play in Boston. They always do incredibly well when they play in New York City. Like something about this area, I know at least they're very popular in, and I'm sure that's true across the country as well. But like,
well, I think being too popular and saying the tickets are too expensive is kind of a larger issue right now. Like again, listening back to our Toad's Place episode.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned I don't know, $200 for tickets, crazy.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, that's if you can find a ticket for under $100, you should go to that show.
We went to Toad's for $40. Well, it was a little more. It was like
it was
something.
I mean
but it was close, right?
It was close to that.
Like with even if you had fees, like whatever, call it $50, right? Which it wasn't even that much, but call it that, right?
But at Toad's with two off-genre headliners,
yeah. But it was a great show.
It was a great show. But there's a big issue in the ticket industry right now, in the live show industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people want to go to, and I don't know what happened. I think I saw or watched something on like how disgusted Kurt Cobain would be with the current like ticket market.
Oh, I'm sure.
And like people of that era was like, no, we want to go and do live shows. We're trying to put on music for people. This isn't about just pure cash flow.
Yeah, but the venue's got to make money. And
I don't even know who's responsible at this point. I don't know enough about it to be like that. That's the
Ticketmaster is responsible. They're basically a monopoly.
Yeah, I guess.
For like, if you want it, unless you're buying like resale tickets, you know what I mean?
Which are worse.
Yeah, like Ticketmaster basically has a monopoly on performances. Well, at least in this area, right? Like, yeah. I don't know if that's true nationally, but they're at least a regional monopoly. Because like, even if you're trying to buy a ticket through like Live Nation or whatever, that's Ticketmaster. If you're buying through fucking like
Live Nation, Ticketmaster synonymous.
They're the same. They're the same. Like if you're going to see a show at any of the major venues, okay, really throughout New England, you're buying you're buying that ticket firsthand. It's through Ticketmaster, except for places like Toad's.
Yeah, because they sell their own tickets,
right?
And they know what they are,
right. And I'm sure there's some like I don't know if like House of Blues, I don't know if they do their own still, if they're through Ticketmaster.
It's been too long. I'm not sure.
That's fair. But like that's another one that comes to mind. That's like I wouldn't be surprised if they still did their own.
Yeah, something like the Palladium.
Yeah,
I know. I'm going to go see the Strumbellas next week. I bought Jackie tickets for her birthday. I don't think I got that from the venue though. Although I think I got like pre-release tickets.
Okay.
Like entered in from like the band's page.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think those tickets were. I don't think those were the cheapest of things either.
Fair. Or were they Ticketmaster tickets?
They weren't Ticketmaster tickets, so
okay.
They were under $100 if I remember right.
Okay. Then you got to go according to your own logic.
Well, but that's kind of what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the going to see live music right now is crazy.
It's crazy,
regardless of what it is. Actually, it's funny. Me, Kyle, and my uncle Mark, we just bought tickets to go see Dweezil Zappa at the Toyota Oakdale in like August or something like that. He's coming, and this was like last weekend or something like that when I was hanging out with him. We bought the tickets, and Kyle bought them, and I don't remember how much they were, but I think like they were decent tickets. I think they were probably close to like $80-$90 a pop. You know, so and they were Ticketmaster tickets. So, but at least with that,
I'm not here to put down Dweezil Zappa, but
you shouldn't, because it's an incredible show.
I'm not saying it's not.
It's an incredible show.
But if we're talking about like the amalgamation of things that would affect ticket prices,
okay.
Besides you,
yeah,
and when I go and hang around with your family,
yeah,
I don't hear a lot of people talk about Dweezil Zappa.
All right, that's fair.
Or Zappas in general.
All right, fine. You got me on that one. Okay. Yeah. But at least with that though, like, he's one of the few bands, because his dad did it. So he's one of the few groups that, like, after the show, they set up a table in the back, and like you can just go up to them and talk to them and get like your stuff signed, and like there's no additional cost or anything
to
like
do that.
There's no VIP package, which a lot of groups do. Like it just it happens at the end of every single show. They always do it.
I wonder if we could have done that at the concert we went to.
Questionable.
The Hoodie Allen Pressman concert.
Potentially, I didn't see them.
I don't know.
After, I mean, I saw Yoshi afterwards.
I was gonna say we probably could have met Yoshi.
We definitely could have met Yoshi. But I don't know if we could have met Hoodie or Bryce.
I know we could have met. Going back here to the Fozzy concert, we could have met. I think everybody but Fozzy were hanging around the merch.
Yes.
Tables.
Yeah.
And we could have met any of them.
Karma Crash. Both of them were.
Both of them were GMFO.
Yeah. Gold Frankincense Murder.
Yep. They were hanging around there.
They're split. I don't know if we talked about this. No, they broke up.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think one of them is now looking to do some solo stuff or something like that, but they're no longer touring as a band together anymore. It's just in recent news either. I think this is like probably over a year ago.
Close to the end of that tour that they were on.
Yeah.
That's probably the other reason why it's hard.
But they're also like, they're all like college aged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's probably also what some of the issue is in trying to have traditional rock bands that are new and up and coming.
Yeah.
Like, of the bands that were there, they were the young, like, entering the scene people.
Yeah.
And bands break up.
Yep.
Throughout history, bands break up.
Yep.
There's usually a lot of personality amongst musicians, from my understanding.
Based on history, I would tend to agree. My knowledge of history. Not any personal history. God, I'm not pretentious enough to ever claim I was ever a musician, because I wasn't. But, but yeah, just based on music history.
Sure.
For sure. Big personalities everywhere.
So it's like...
I'm sorry to defend Ringo, but
But so it's hard for a traditional band to make big, differentiate themselves in a way that makes them get recognized.
Yeah.
And stay together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you don't necessarily need that with other kinds of modern music. Again, because you don't need a drummer if you can just put it on a backtrack.
Right.
You might not need to know how to play the drums.
Potentially.
Or at least the idea of how music works in order to make a digital track to have it work.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need a drummer.
No. Like, I'm thinking of all,
You should have one. That's what I'm advocating for.
All, modern country singers, like modern pop singers, like, it's them.
They're the name.
You're going to see the person, you're not going to see the group. Right? Like, they could have anyone playing guitar for them. They could have anyone playing the drums for them. Like, at a concert,
Mhm.
right? And like, I'm never gonna know. Yeah, I don't know who the fuck these people are.
That's like it's like 9 Inch Nails. It's Trent Reznor.
Yep.
He's the consistent one. I think that he's had some other of his band members who stick around. Same with AWOL Nation. It's Aaron Burno.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that he's kept with the same band, but like if he didn't, it's still AWOL Nation.
No. Yeah, right.
It's not like the Beatles.
Right. It's not like the Beatles. You know, the Beatles are the Fab Four. Like, you know, there's no one else that can get slotted in there.
Yeah, Fab 3.5.
Fuck you.
But no, I'm just, and AWOL Nation, I would argue, is a rock band.
Yes.
They do a lot of experimental stuff, but I've gone to those shows and they have a band who are ripping on instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to take away from Olche, not to take away from 21 Pilots.
They're still,
who I think are very musically apt.
Yeah.
Like Josh Dunn can play amazing drums for 21 Pilots, but it's different than like they put on a great show, but it's not necessarily it's a rock show.
Yes. Another one that just came to mind that we both know, Cosmo Sheldrake, right?
Yeah,
that's not a rock band.
It's not rock band,
right? Like
is it folk? I guess we didn't really talk about like indie. Like I don't
know if I'd call them folk either. I remember I told you a little while back now. I introduced one of my supervisors to him. He's not my direct supervisor, but
sure. Did you start with bird noises, or at least start with grade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm like
bird song. Sorry.
This was back in like November, or something like that. I remember I was in the office. I was helping with a project, and we were sitting in his office together, and he asked me what kind of music I listen to throw on there, and I'm like, well, this is the chance. Like, I mean, if I ever get a chance, this is the chance to say some of the weirdest shit that I listen to. And I'm like, oh, well, there's this guy, his name's Cosmo Sheldrake, and he listens to all this weird stuff. But the point of the story is he said a genre name that I'd never heard before, and I mentioned it to you, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. It was something like organic electronic, it was something along those lines.
Oh, you did. I vaguely remember this. Because I remember I mentioned folk and how I grouped too many things in that.
Yeah.
And I remember I had some friends who made a band called Jackson's Hologram. They've broken up for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
But they called themselves like dance folk or electric dance folk. But they had instruments, but it was like, it wasn't your typical rock sort of, they had a little bit different elements. Kind of like Bombay Bicycle Club. Something like them.
Okay.
If you're not familiar, also look into them. They're great.
Not coming to me immediately, but
interesting though. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is there's so many weird genres of music.
Yeah, they're not rock though, right? Like the reason I'm saying that they're not rock, and he's also not like the most popular individual, right? He's not trying to.
No.
He's not like trying actively seek out like a wide audience.
I don't think he realizes that there's two weirdos over in New England who keep promoting him on the podcast that hardly anyone listens to way too frequently.
He's so cool. We could be in Dublin right now. No?
You know who else I thought of? Who I think falls into this sort of thing we're talking about is the Dead South. And Hell on Being Good Company.
Yeah.
And it's what the fuck do you do with them?
Yep.
It's like, okay, they're a band. They're like trying to come up, and it's like, okay. I've heard some people call that genre punk.
No.
And isn't that weird? Isn't that strange?
No, I disagree.
But what do you call them?
They're more folk, but they're heavy folk.
Yeah, what do you do with that?
Instead of heavy metal, they're heavy folk. Like,
I would say they fall under the rock umbrella, though.
Yes, because beyond just that song, like listening to more of their stuff, it is. I would agree they fall under the rock umbrella. I think there's folk elements.
Yeah, but even like Amigo the Devil, Dead Man's Poison,
Yep.
that sort of stuff. It's
Dead Man's Poison, I think, is a little different. But, you know, I think, oddly enough, I think Dead Man's Poison is more, like, country rock in a very weird way. Like, they fall more like that to me than even, like, the Dead South for some reason. But I see, you know, they are still similar in a lot of ways.
And it's got to be tough trying to say, I'm going to make money as a musician.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not going into some kind of classical trade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do I get recognized? What is my audience?
Yeah.
And I think that's where we get some of these fucking weird things that you wouldn't expect to be coming up now.
Yeah.
Like a band like the Dead South, like Johnny Cash's era? Sure. Okay. Rock's only starting off.
Yep.
Like Johnny Cash, at his time, was rock.
Yes. He's a country singer.
We would look at him as a country singer now.
Yes.
When he was coming up, that was rock and roll.
Right. Yep.
There was like clear, oh no, that's where I would put him.
You know who hasn't been like reclassified? Elvis.
Well, he was pop.
Kind of.
Well, he.
It was rock and roll.
He was pop. He was rock and roll. He was stealing.
He wasn't a great person. We don't talk about the person. The person is shitty.
You know.
But
that's an interesting one because he definitely had stronger blues elements.
Oh yeah.
It was, I'm not gonna say cultural appropriating things, but
questionable.
But like I guess that was rock, but it was pop.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It was pop, just based on how popular it got.
Right.
But like it was rock and roll.
It was also gospel at times, so I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I feel like we're opposing concepts.
Nah, we got Creed. You can't say that when Creed exists or the Killers exist, you know.
The Killers? Are they?
So
I have never thought of them as a Christian rock band.
Exactly. That's how they get you. So I saw this.
They've sung about some questionable shit, so hold on.
So I saw this skit the other day. And I think the guy was a comedian, but he was getting interviewed. I didn't recognize him immediately, so I don't remember his name. But it was like, there was a question asked, and it was like, who is the most popular Christian rock band that nobody knows is a Christian rock band?
He said the Killers.
The Killers.
What?
Yeah. So like, Mr. Brightside, that song.
Okay. It's about adultery.
And there's a lot of like little elements in the lyrics that are making reference to God and Jesus, and like in a lot of their other songs. Yeah.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to have to go back and listen to Hot Fuzz for the 800th time and deconstruct that.
So, I mean, it's, I don't know how popular of a theory it is.
It's a great album, by the way.
But like, it's, it exists. Okay, hold on. You ready for this? Ready for this tie-in? Ready for this tie-in?
I hate this, alright.
Just like modern bands are often going rock to become more popular.
Okay.
So did gospel music.
They went more gospel to become gospel
They
music?
went more rock.
Oh.
To become popular.
You know what this gospel band is really missing? More gospel.
But like, that's how they broke into more mainstream, is by adapting rock elements into their songs that have a religious message. That's why Creed is a thing. Like, they're popular. They get bashed all the time. I love Creed. I will openly admit that on air. I don't care.
I think Jackie's made a Creed playlist. Or, like, somehow it's now been sucked in. She gets Creed memes. We listen to Creed way more than I have in the past decade and a half.
They have so many good songs.
They're also... I don't know about the whole band. The lead singer's a shit person, from my understanding.
Why?
He's like vehement alcoholic who's like just terrorized people on stage and not refunded anybody before.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that. You know what I did know is that he was in Bert Kreischer's college band.
What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, so you know the comedian Bert Kreischer?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Machine.
Yeah, he had a band in college where the lead singer of Creed, I think it might have been the guitarist. I think it was the lead singer of Creed. Was the guitarist in their band. And like he was clearly the most talented person in that band. This is like how he tells the story. So the other members decided, all right, we gotta kick this guy out because he's too good. and then he went off and he formed Creed right after that.
What the fuck?
And then got popular. And now he denies it to this day.
You're going to be fucking fact checked on this.
Bert
shit.
Kreischer,
There's no way I'll be able to prove this.
Bert Kreischer stands by it, but the guy who was in Creed, who was either the lead singer or the guitarist, denies it still. Like, will never admit to it.
Yeah, of course you would.
Which I get, but it's like, yeah, that was
What the fuck?
that is another weird connection there. Which,
Okay.
maybe if Bert Kreischer was a better musician, he would have went rock, and then he would have gotten popular in a different way than he did as a comedian.
I think he got popular both as a comedian and as a person from having so many drunk shenanigans that he couldn't not tell people, and it's just funny as fuck.
And had a movie made about him.
I haven't seen that yet, but yeah.
Right, like, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. He didn't need rock and roll. You know?
No, but I think we've talked about this a few times. And the Foo Fighters always come up. Maybe Weezer, even Tenacious D. And it's like, if I wanted to go see, like, what are the last great actual rock bands?
Okay.
And the Foo Fighters is the main ones that comes to mind. It's like, that is a fucking rock and roll band. They're not even trying to be a different genre. They are rock and roll, and they're still fucking killing it. And it's like,
Yeah.
who else can I say they've stuck with it? They haven't changed genres. They haven't done some, they're just good.
Someone who has, like, been that level of consistent for as long as they have.
Right. I mean, Greta has potential to do something similar.
Sure, they're just too new.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I love them.
I know.
I do. And I think it's. I told this to you, but I think it's because it has some of those like weird. I got like Rush vibes from it. So like I think that's why I like it so much is because it's that weird.
I got
mix.
it. You like dad rock.
That weird mix between Zeppelin and Rush, and like kind of like he's got such cool. But anyways, what I was getting to though, honestly, is that I think Greta got popular in spite of the comparisons, not because of the comparisons.
No, that's fair because I think that they drew inspiration, but they are not at all trying to mimic.
Right.
They're not a cheap knockoff.
Right. They weren't trying to be Zeppelin. Like that was never what their goal was, and I think that comes through in the music more so than other past bands who have been compared to Zeppelin, which is why I think they're getting as popular as they are. But,
and it's
rock kind of ish.
And it's not to put a slight on classic rock. I don't even consider Zeppelin dad rock. I fucking love Zeppelin. I didn't realize how much I like Zeppelin until I started realizing all of the songs that were by Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And I got a Zeppelin album and I put it on and I'm just like, fucking, I'm having a good time right now.
Yeah. It's great. So are they breaking out because who was the other end of the spectrum? I'm sorry, remind me.
Bryce Vine.
Oh yes, okay. Bryce Vine.
And I don't think that
I don't know if he's purposely.
I don't know by levels of popularity if that's fair to put them on the scale.
I don't know.
Because Greta's underground popular, but they're popular amongst a wide variety of people.
Yeah, I think
it's like I don't hear Greta come up in the news frequently. I don't hear them talked about. It's not like,
I think they've grown past underground popular. Like because they are played on radio stations across the country that are like, you know, that we just don't have because we live in a dearth when it comes to radio. But like, there are many, you know, rock stations that will play them. There are many alternative stations that will play them. You know,
but like
we don't hear them as much. But like, yeah, modern stuff like is like they're played all the time.
Because I don't hear Bryce Vine come up a lot, but I know he was popular a few years back. Like when Sour Patch Kids, that sort of stuff came out.
Yeah, I mean, Lazy Fair was. I mean, it's a great album.
But Lazy Fair's a good album, and it blew up. And I think he's come out with 2 albums since. I knew Drew Barrymore blew up as a single.
I think 3. One of them might have been an EP, might not have been a full album.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 3. I think that was 2016.
Something close to that.
It was around there.
It was around there. And I don't know.
The one that fucking Glamorama came off of.
Okay.
Came after that. I don't remember what album that was.
I'd have to.
And then Drew Barrymore, and then Margot Robbie came after that as well, which was a different album from those other 2.
But it's like it's like okay, maybe some popular singles.
Yeah.
But I think that similarly, he's a little bit tough to place in the genre.
Yes. Yep.
You know, I don't know if you've ever listened to 93.7. It is an interesting station in this area. Although it does rap and things of that nature, I don't know if they play Bryce Vine. It's usually a little bit more like trappy, to be honest.
Gotcha. Bryce Vine is likely not going to show up on that station.
Right, like he's, you know, but I don't know if like
what station is he going to show up?
That's the thing.
There it is, right? What station?
Like
is he gonna
people who found him and like him are in, but it's like we went to that concert and it wasn't packed like if Greta was playing Toads.
True, it was still like
it was busy. It was
busy.
Way busier than Fozzy.
Yeah, and like even the bartender said that like the
bartender,
the demographics of the crowd was like wild.
The bartender looked at us and was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't know who's here. I don't understand why this mix of people is here.
No.
She probably thought that we were a couple.
Potentially.
I'm like pretty, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I don't
okay. All right.
I don't know where somebody like Bryce Vine would be played on the radio.
No, I don't think they would be.
Which is
like,
you know,
and again, going back to the like, based on the radio stations that we have available to us, which I honestly believe it is a dearth. Like, I don't think the radio stations that we have available to us, based on our location, are great.
So
there's like a couple options, and that's really it.
I mean, the other thing I've been finding though is like I use Pandora as a weirdo that I am, and I use like I found like a Today's Hit alternative station, and if I'm listening to that, I don't know if he'd come up there. I've never heard him on it.
Well, he's not alternative.
Well, that's I don't. Right? But the things that come up there are like some things that frequently come up on there I would think are more poppy. And I don't think alternative stations are ever going to stop sucking Fall Out Boy's dick. But
fair. Every weekend. No. But I think for me that just makes me think I have no idea how to classify or categorize Bryce Vine.
Yeah.
I have a way, like, I had a way, I still do, I still think, like, indie pop punk rap works for Woody Allen. Like, if you add enough things in there and combine it, it kind of gets there. Because I think the pop punk gets to the rock elements, and then, like, but he's a rapper. And then put it away and just don't overanalyze it.
Don't overanalyze it. And, like, what was that song he had? That got radio played recently.
I don't know which one got radio play recently. He's got a bunch of them. No Interruption is very popular.
That's the one. I was thinking of No Interruption.
That got radio. Okay, I didn't know that got radio play.
Yes.
So I don't listen to the radio. So
that's it's fair. But like that's something I heard across things was No Interruption.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
And it's
there was a couple. Now that I'm thinking back to it, there's a couple songs that I listened to that he didn't do that I was kind of surprised. We got the big ones. You know, the fact that we got 18 Cool, that was. I was very excited when he started doing that one. Like that was awesome because, you know, I don't know. That one you don't hear apparently very often. And I looked up afterwards, like I did the research, and like he had not played that one at any of the previous concerts on this tour.
He said that.
Yeah,
he said that. You never know if that's true.
You never. I looked at you know, setlist.fm, whatever that website is, where it lists out all of them, and everyone that they had available. He did not do it at any of the previous concerts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, like...
Well, he even said, he's like, you know, I think I got some, like, old school Woody Allen fans out here. And then he just started playing it. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That was awesome to hear. But, anyway.
No, it's all good.
You categorize them.
Yeah.
I can't categorize them. Bret's fine.
Right. And it sucks because I think he's cool. And I think it's enjoyable to listen to. He seems like a decent, like, I don't fucking know, dude, but...
Fine.
Anybody with that much of a voice, it sounds like he's never not been high. I think it's got to be friendly.
Fair. No, fair. And do you think... so, the reason that he can be categorized is the reason that he doesn't get radio play. Is, you know, like it compounds, right?
I think it contributes.
Right? So,
yeah,
like...
I think, like...
Because he doesn't fall anywhere. You're never going to hear Bryce Vine on a rock station.
No.
But, like we said at the beginning... It was a rock concert.
That was a rock show. I don't know a better way. Like, I was sitting there and I was not expecting it to be what it was.
Yeah.
Because if I listen to Sour Patch Kids, if I listen to Drew Barrymore, I'm not thinking, oh, this is a rock song.
Right. But
I'm not.
In person.
The experience it's a
was.
fucking rock show.
Yeah.
And it was, and I like those songs, but it's like, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I mentioned Giovanni and the Hired Guns. Mm-hmm. They get time on an alternative stations. Mm-hmm. And I think that's difficult with, like, emerging, like, I want to play real music bands that don't fall cleanly into a category. Like, Greta Van Fleet will get play on a classic rock station.
Yes. Yeah, because they fall neatly into a category.
It's like, oh yeah, you can transition from a freaking a Stone song into them.
Yeah.
And it won't be like, oh, okay, yeah,
there's nothing harsh. It makes sense. It goes right into it. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Same with like Giovanni and the Hired Guns. It's like, okay, I can put that in a 90s set list. And it will be like, yeah, okay, overrated just made sense there. But I don't know where you put somebody like Bryce Vine. And that stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a musician. It's gotta be fucking hard.
Yeah, and you know, it's especially hard when your most popular fans are just a couple of assholes who, you know, just
who lie about their category on all podcasts platforms they're on because they don't know what it is either.
Yeah, we have no idea how to categorize you, and we're probably misrepresenting you entirely.
I think I tagged self-help actually.
That makes sense for this one too. No, but you know, it just comes back to it's hard to categorize in that way. But I think getting back to one of the initial conversations, it is working for a number of up and coming groups to get under that rock umbrella in some way. Mm-hmm. Just in terms of allowing them to grow their popularity.
Yeah.
And it like
fringe rock without without selling out is a hard category to be in.
Yes. And there's a ton of it right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of what we listen to.
Yeah. Fringe podcasts that don't want to sell out are really hard to be into right now.
Yeah. But like, I don't think it's there's a negative connotation to like getting under the rock umbrella to become popular.
No,
personally, I don't think that's
because I don't think it's an easy thing to do.
Right.
Without like saying you're some cheap ripoff.
Right. Yep. Yep. So like introducing those elements in non-traditional ways will naturally. Well, we will naturally gravitate towards that, and
Fucking damn hipsters.
similar-minded individuals to ourselves will also naturally gravitate towards that.
Hipsters aren't even a thing anymore.
And it I'm just ignoring you.
No, I was playing with that. Yeah, I was hoping you would.
And like, you threw me off though. You threw me, you son of a bitch. I had a point. I was gonna end it. It was gonna make sense, and then you got me. You fucking got me. It's gone. Fuck you. Hipsters ruin everything. Moral of the story. And as soon as any band goes a little rock, they're not hipster enough anymore.
And as soon as they go a little pop, they're a sellout.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Fuck all of you now. And we're still gonna listen because we're not hipsters.
yeah, and if you keep still listening to us, that's kind of cool.
And you are a hipster. Takes a lot of commitment.
Yeah, a lot of commitment.
But
Some incoherent nonsense.
yeah, you're like, you know,
I wasn't even waxing poetic here.
what is it like? It's not reading comprehension, but like you're, you know, like if you're able to understand everything that we're talking about,
Seek mental health.
yeah, probably, yeah. So we're self-help. We're self-help.
See?
But yeah, Wild, thank you, and we love you.
He does.